Are you ready? Yes.
All right, let's hope we're live. We're jumping into this one very, very quickly. This is game number 1 in a best-of-5 series between Aizamk and Diarouga on Florida here. Apologies for the late start and for the game already being 30 seconds in and there being no countdown, etc., etc. I had a doctor's appointment, and classic doctors, they usually are late, right? So I was waiting there, I was on time, but never mind, they kept me waiting. But that's to be expected. Such is the way of healthcare, and we all can get on with that. But there's a villager out on the middle of the map. Aizamk perhaps going to be contesting 75 wood with it. No, it's not been started. But this... What's it doing? Oh. Yeah. Mm. Right. Sorry, I was just telling you down. Yes, so this is the most abrupt start we've ever had, but it should be a good stream today because we've got Diarouga versus Aizamk, followed by a best of 9 no walls LAN vs Villessa on Age of Empires 2 as well. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, well, okay. Well, we were saying yesterday on the stream, right, who needs the Discovery Age? The game basically starts in the Colonial Age anyway, so we're pretty much there. Diarouga, well, no one aging just yet, but yes, here is Diarouga in the left hand. I feel like this is the official start point, and A's already, before the game's even started, villagers out on the map doing who knows what. Look, another one. I guess he's herding from mid-map? Right. Just sort of looking for wherever it is. Classic A's being unpredictable as usual. But yes, here he is. But Aizamk in the north of the map playing as the British. So India versus British on Florida is our first map here. And we'll see what that village is for very soon. But British now up to the Colonial Age. Villages being switched from food to wood. Gangsaw in queue. And Diarouga won't be far behind him. Currently on 500 food there. Villager's still chopping for wood. So it seems like he's in no hurry to... I suppose he needs to maintain the wood for the age up. Yeah, lots of forward manners. Seems interesting. So in this matchup, traditionally, it's sort of hard for the British, right? Like, we've seen British sometimes struggle here. I wonder what A's will do differently versus Diarouga, or if there is much that he can do differently. He's actually already stacking another shipment. Well, that makes sense. He's just aged up, so he has that ready. Yeah, I'm not sure A's has any idea what he's doing. And maybe that's how he does it. No, it looked like it was going to go home, but he's going to pursue up the coast. So yeah, Diarouga not making sure that that's having to head home. He's going to get it up on the coast here, and that's going to give him some control over the water. So perhaps we'll see him build a dock there later on. It's clearly quite a useful anti-ship building. But Diarouga at 5 minutes now, 90%, not quite up yet, but nearly there. So fairly late age, and we do see sort of forward barracks from one of those villages from Aizamk, and 700 wood is his first shipment here. Let's take a look at units in queue. It will be Longbowmen. So looking like, now he's got a first batch of musks and now has Longbowmen following this up. But looks like he's intending to be a little bit aggressive and spend some of that wood on longbows.
Yeah, and the musk's coming in. Not gonna get that bill, I think. He will get back into the town center safely. But there's Sepoy in queue for Diarouga. Looks like he's not even gonna get a full patch though, so not gonna be very aggressive from him either.
Yeah, he gets 4 Sepoy out, plus the 2 that he started with. Takes a volley on the musks. A's not scared. Not going to be pushed away. Not going to be scared of Sepoy. Longbowman coming in as well now. And Sepoy...
with those monks getting onto them, but it's probably going to be enough, I guess.
Yeah, does manage to...
3 Sepoy for maybe 1 or 2 longbows here.
Yeah.
Goes down, some damage on the other ones. And that house is probably going to fall in a moment here. There's Gurkha and
he's got the repair on it. That's nice. Well done to Diarouga there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a cheap building. It's really easy to repair, so...
It's also very easy to kill.
Really
It's still going to go down to your point. Where it's not really going to change anything, but perhaps buying him a little bit of extra time. Looks like the Longbowmen are going to look for that villager on the back. They don't find it in the end. The monks coming forward, not going to pursue in there. A couple of Gurkha out now, which are going to be strong against the musks, but is going to be able to get that house down before the Gurkha get in range.
This is so weird. I don't think I've ever seen this matchup played.
This is really nice.
Before.
Focusing down the Gurkha with 1 volley of the musks. Yeah, this is weird, but British, he's pulling it off. Aizamk doing quite well. Manages to pick off a Sepoy there.
Yeah, I mean, the agri-fort positioning doesn't really protect anything, right? It's actually sort of a pseudo-aggressive agri-fort where it's like sort of forward, but not defensive. It's really weird. And so A's, with that barracks positioning, is able to make really good use of his units here against that. And India has a really hard time making consistent batches of 5 units early on, especially if they're also trying to invest in market upgrades and get their consulate going and everything. But he's got Ottoman Hussar in queue now, so this pressure has forced him at least to send or to not get the villagers. So he's feeling pressured enough that he's going to need that.
Yeah.
Also, I really like this. He's splitting off 1 longbow just for some line of sight here to sort of cover his flank a little bit.
4 Sours do enter the British base, though. Looks like they're going to be able to pick up perhaps 1... No, maybe... Is he going to get the villager? Doesn't pick up the villager kill. So, yeah, forcing Minutemen. And 2 of them very low health to pick off later. Meanwhile, back home...
There's 2 vills right there. And yeah, back at home, stuff is also happening.
But he doesn't notice the... Oh, he does notice the vills. Oh, dear. Going to lose 2 vills there. There's the 3 Hussars called. And looks like India's going to come in and take this fight now. Minutemen from the Ottoman consulate being called. The Hussars do go down. And A's now able to sort of get back out of here. Does pick off a vill on his way out. And let's switch on over to units lost. And just keep an eye on how many villages have gone down. A's actually only lost the 1 vill on that mine that we saw. Didn't lose them both. And India has lost 2 vills overall. But this looks like a pretty good trade for India. Forcing these British units back towards the coast, and they're going to get stuck. Not really anywhere else to hide.
I mean, cleaning up the army is going to be nice for him for sure. But A's has bought himself a lot of time back at home. He's only at 70 manor pop, but I mean he's also forced Hussars instead of villagers. You know, the consulate, he's killed a couple villagers. He killed a house. Diarouga's going to want to spend time maybe killing this forward base before he does anything about Aizamk space. So. Like, things are looking pretty even at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, and meanwhile, behind this, A's has sent 5 vills and 600 wood. Now just coming in as well, so going to continue that boom at home. And he's got all his upgrades. He's got steel traps in, gang saw, and placer mines as well. So British with the stronger economy there for the time being. So probably fine, as you're mentioning. Looks like 5 Hussars have just been called, and they might well find a few villagers on these pronghorn to the side there. Looks like the Hussars haven't spotted them. They're taking the stealthy route round. But they may well find the village next to the trading post, something like that. We'll keep an eye on them. But looks like the India army is pushing out here. There is the barracks and stable that they can kill. But the monks pursuing forward, they perhaps sense there's villagers nearby. They do find them. And that means the units are going to chase them down. I mean, you know, all these units...
No. Lots of vills going down in Diarouga's base. on both sides of his base. Irregular is being called though.
Oh, wow.
Getting some damage done on that. Hussar.
6, 7
Another
villages
Velvet
has died. 8
No,
villages
a
have
lot of
died.
vills dying here.
That's a lot of 9 vills. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's not a good.
10 villages.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up these monks
And
as well.
Look at Aizamk's. Well, I'm gonna say Aizamk's macro looks like he's gonna age, but actually he just doesn't want to trade anything from those military buildings as they're going down soon. He's rebuilding a barracks back at home. We'll see what his next shipment is. Could probably be either 700 coin or 6 longbows, depending on if he wants to age or not. But another Vil going down under that town center. Some Sepoy now coming out from the Egg Fort to defend. Hussars being not quite the most diligent units in the world and going to die to one of those, or one of them going to die to the Sepoy there. But yeah, really effective pressure so far from A's. But the Indian army is looking pretty scary now, and Diarouga is going to just right-click Aizamk's base now that he's cleaned up the military buildings, and there's a lot of exposed villagers here, and Aizamk is trying to age with that 700 gold, so this could be Diarouga's opportunity to get some counter damage done.
Yeah, but I think overall Aizamk going to be very pleased with what he's managed to achieve in his colonial age here. 11 villager kills, and he's only lost the 1 there. Did pay for it in terms of military, though. He's lost 20 musks and 10 longbowmen and 5 hussars, which is not as nearly as much as what India has lost. You see India has a much bigger army currently, although having said that, the military unit graph looks fairly even. I guess, though, this is fleshed out by a lot of 1 HP Minutemen. And remember, India units are a lot stronger, or they cost more, so to speak, so more pop efficient, perhaps. Let's see what Diarouga can do then. This is a scary moment for Aizamk, but if he can survive, and he's in a very nice spot. He's got a really strong economy, so that's good for him. But India, let's take a look. Where is he sort of heading to? There's the hunts on this side here. He can push Aizamk away, and then there's sort of no other backup hunt. He's got one sort of on this side. They do manage to... They don't pick up a villager kill. Greatcoat's coming in strong there, but they are going to deny the food here. But British now halfway aged and has a reasonable number of units. India looks like, and with Hussars coming in from the back and some musketeers as well, actually looks like Britain wants to take the fight, despite aging.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a good position to fight without the bugs here and stuff like that, and his units close to home, and that reinforcing batch of longbows coming in. Although with the batch of Sowars coming behind this might not actually turn out as well for him as he would like, and if he loses this spot, it's going to be forced off this hunt. He's not going to have a lot of use to defend the longbows from the age up. And yeah, here we go, forced to retreat. Oh, those aren't Sowars, those are Zambraks. Never mind, it's not going to go that poorly.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
relatively even trade,
and A's now up to the next stage with a much better economy, so I don't think he minds at all. Before we continue, I just want to turn the game sounds down, because you are not... Let's actually maybe turn you up. That would probably be the better thing to do, wouldn't it? Let's do that. Okay, let's try that.
all right. Yeah, so the thing about that trade there is taking an even trade there is going to make Diarouga invest into more units, most likely, because he's unaware that Aizamk was aging. Which is going to delay the amount of time it will take him to maybe follow him up to Fortress. And that will potentially give A's an opportunity to abuse something like 2 Falconets or something like that, and those veteran upgrades maybe do some damage to Diarouga moving forward here. Sowars being split off to do some raiding on the side here. The army's sort of positioned nearby, though now it's moving away.
This tower didn't really end up doing anything, did it? I kind of forgot that it was even there.
Well, it's showing him where the army is now, and there's 2 caravels coming out for Diarouga, so it's going to show him that those exist. That's kind of a weird move from Diarouga, to be honest, to send that. 1 Falc is going to go down. That's huge.
Ouchie. I didn't even see most of that fight. They were just the raiding cav that got split off, right? They found the Falconet.
I didn't
and
notice either until the Falc was almost dead, but... Yeah, these 2 caravels, kind of expecting A's to be on water already, I guess. Although it will control this hunt, so even if there's nothing for them to do on water, they do get to at least deny a lot of resources to British, potentially.
Yeah, and they can fish as well. An expensive 2 villager shipment.
Losing that Falconet, though, is huge, because India, even in the Fortress Age, has a rough time dealing with Falconets. Usually it forces like a siege elephant shipment, which is a pretty expensive shipment. You pay 500 food and a shipment for that instead of maybe investing that 500 food into units, or then like getting another shipment. So it costs you potentially like 10 units worth of stuff. But with only one Falc out, he's not going to be super concerned, most likely, about having to deal with that. So in a good position now. And he's still pretty far behind economically. But yeah, I don't know. His army is still going to be doing all right once he does get up to the fortress here, gets out those Urumi shipments and stuff like that. So it's not over yet. And still looking relatively close, I would say.
Yeah. Let's take a look at text being researched. He's going up with the Taj Mahal. So perhaps we'll see the ceasefire Urumi combo. And looks like he's also, by the looks of it, amalgamation coming in for the British player as well. And why not? He's got the full map at the moment, and there's lots of coin here. So these villages and that really strong economy are going to be quite exceptional at the moment with every upgrade, as well as log flume. So plenty of wood income. Musketeer raid on the bottom here. He's going to pick up another villager, another 2 villagers. Look at that vill being pulled. He's running for his life, but he is going to go down. And there's still a few wood villagers here. Diarouga perhaps being a little bit sloppy. Maybe he's even going to lose all of those villagers. This is really not good. He's now so far behind. But the Sepoys...
he's doing such a good job with these raids this game. But that last vill does go down.
It does go down, but he is going to trade off every Musk that he was raiding with for it. Perhaps expected that, though, since Musk's very small. Oh my goodness, and even another raid on the coast, and Diarouga he knows he can't continue. Too many villages have gone down.
That's how you win the game without winning a single fight.
Yeah, let's take a look at that villager graph. That was really something else. That was, jeez, look at 8 vills coming in, finishing off his manners, gets to 72, and at the end there, Diarouga on 29 villages. It's just, let's take a look at all resources gathered, and you can see A's just so far ahead here. And yes, as Maito says, that's how you win the game without winning a single fight. But we're not going to dilly-dally today. We've not got long for this series before the best of 9 show match, so let's get on out into the lobby and queue into the next game immediately.
In a sense, you could say he actually even killed more vills than that, since he didn't get the villagers from the Ottoman consulate and got those hussars instead.
All right.
So that's 4 less vills that he didn't have.
Okay, so Aizamk will pick first. Do you have the map pool on the clipboard?
I can have it.
Yeah, if you would, because I can't really tab out at the moment. There it is. Nice. Looks like Aizamk will go France. The next map will be Kamchatka. And Diarouga will pick a civilization in response. Okay. What do you? I think France is quite a reasonable pick. I'm interested to see what A's does. Like, what off the top? I mean, he's not going to play standard, right? And that's the reason often France is good. They can do most things, and it's hard to counter them. But I mean, what is it that A's would want to do? Like, there's the gendarme, like the 6 cuirassier shipment in the industrial age that he might want to send. Looks like, though, Diarouga will just mirror with France. So we're clicking into game number 2 in this series. Yes. It is a French mirror. And I just want some confirmation from Robo or whoever that the audio levels are fine. I turned it down considerably in the thing. I now realize I shouldn't have done that, and I should have just used the volume thing on the headset itself to make Maito quieter. So I can fix things. Just someone let me know what to do, or if to do nothing, that would be ideal. But yes, welcome everybody to the stream if you're just tuning in. I'm being told everything's fine, so that's all good. But yes, welcome anyone just tuning in. The first game just went the way of Aizamk, and in a pretty spectacular number of villager kills. So well done to A's there. But yeah, pretty rushed start. Apologies for the rushing. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, or before the stream started, and that caused me to be late to the studio. So such is the way of things. But we are here now, and let's start with Aizamk. Here he is in the color red, playing as the French, and villagers, couple on wood there. He's going to get the trading post, so it looks like he's going to be going for the early trading post, and we'll have to gather wood in transition. But A's being very diligent, chasing down these goats, and but likewise, so is Diarouga. He's not going to let them get away, only moving a couple of inches every now and again and going back, since this does have a lot more speed. Quite like that, trying to get into melee combat with the scout. And Aizamk is going to pick up a goat there. Looks like Diarouga going to get 3 out of the 4 in the middle, so coming out ahead. And he's doing mirror stuff at the moment. Looks like he's going to be going for a trading post as well. In terms of treasures, no treasures just yet, but that portion of the game is about to begin. But it is a French mirror. Let's take a look around the map, Maito, and see what they might find. 35 food nearby there. He's going to come across the 30 coin treasure. There's another goat up here that he will find. It's going to bring it up to 4-2 in terms of goats. But no big treasures. Just 80 XP, which they sort of both could go for. And in the middle of the map, they've both identified 75 food. But Diarouga... Oh, and 85 wood as well. I wonder if Diarouga will go for that. I always like it when the big treasures spawn in the middle. It's always very tense, and it's always quite risky to go for one. Because you know your opponent will know that you're taking it. But looks like Diarouga is going to take the wood treasure. And Maito... I don't think Aizamk is going to go up and contest it just... No,
He decided to start the other one because he spotted the Explorer there, I guess. Didn't want to risk it getting contested. Yeah. He can take this one more safely from this side because his Explorer will give him vision of that other Explorer walking up. And it's also just easier to take with those leopards than dealing with the tigers. So he'll be able to get that pretty comfortably. Ace was coming in to sort of contest that, but seeing that he's not going to get there in time, decides to go elsewhere. Might find the 40 wood maybe outside of... Diarouga's base, or maybe this 40 XP. Not going to be super huge for him, but nonetheless, just taking a look at goats. Pretty even at the moment.
4-4 with the goats, and there's only one left on the map here for them to get. Looks like Aizamk is going to come across that first with his native scout. So despite that sort of poor start, he's actually going to come at... Well, by poor start, I mean he only got 1 goat and his opponent got 3 in the middle. But he's actually going to come out ahead in the Goat Wars, although Diarouga slightly ahead on terms of food, which could enable a 13 villager age up, perhaps. Especially if he eats some of the goats, which is what he's doing now as well. So maybe Diarouga could be up a little bit quicker, and that looks like exactly what he's going to do. He has 800 food now, and is aging up on... although does have 14 population... But A's now going to age up slightly later than that. So Diarouga does get a faster age up. But only by about 10%.
So, have you ever seen Aizamk play French mirrors before?
Yes, I think he tries something industrial. Let's take a look at his deck. Oh my, there's not really anything unusual in this, except perhaps the Advanced Church. What do you get from that? Grenadiers. Okay, so that's something funky.
Yeah. That's a typical Aizamk card that I'm not really expecting him to send in this matchup.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the last time I played A's in a French mirror was back in like 2013 or 14 when the meta was still like hard must cuss all the time.
Yeah.
With French, and I remember he would always do what is now the new standard, which was just Cav semi FF.
That's hilarious. I do remember when like the Cav CMEFF came into fashion. I remember Blackstar doing it, and then his opponent also did it in one game, and it was just like this really great thing to watch because both players were just not doing the Samwise sort of vanilla Musk and Hussar colonial stuffs. But now it's very much the thing to do, isn't it?
So but now there's a forward villager.
So A's going to go back to
I feel like we might see a side staple and maybe even a 3 Hussar shipment or something like that from A's. Would not be surprising at all. And hey, I mean, this side forward base worked really well for him last game, so why wouldn't it work again? Yeah, and
Diarouga, one of these sort of textbooks players, I would say, very strong when it comes to playing standard and has these very idealized notions about the game. And A's, I think, can throw him off like quite considerably in a way that's hard for him to keep up with. So I think like playing weird against Diarouga is definitely going to be good. I saw the Twitch chat briefly trying to make its way onto my monitor, but it didn't quite sort of end up getting onto the monitor, which is a shame. And I haven't had time to set up the other PC yet. So I have no idea what the chat's saying, but hopefully you guys are having a great time. Just going to say hello to all the regulars. Alex the cat. I don't know what...
Just to go on about what you said about Aze's playstyle throwing Diarouga off. I think I mentioned this yesterday during the stream as well, but I think Aze historically has a really good win rate against Diarouga in tournament matches. So Diarouga is going to have to try something different if he wants to get back into this series. Maybe make sure he doesn't get as thrown off as he has been so far in that first game. Because otherwise, A's might just run away with the series if he's not careful, as he has done in previous series.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Good start, though. Cavalry coming in. Looks like they're going to pick up a CDB, and totally not expected from Diarouga. Like, I mean, why would you expect Cav to appear there at 6 minutes? You just wouldn't. They'd be walking across the map. So I don't blame him for having his Vil that far out still. He's going to lose it. But A's only managed to get 3 cavalry out. I think from the direction that those Cav came, Diarouga can expect a stable on the side here, just because it's not possible for... Oh wow, okay, that's interesting. Not an ideal shipment at this point, but he's going to use it to fund Hussar production, I assume.
Except he has no Hussars in queue. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
I'm really confused right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, 700 Foon's a fine shipment, right? But usually when you don't have many hunts in your base, or when they're just starting to run out, neither of those things true. So it does make you wonder, right? 700 coin might just be sort of better, but either way, he's going to. It doesn't even look like he's going to age up. He just has a lot of food in bank.
I don't understand. I don't understand what this is. Okay, 700 coin coming next to age up.
Yeah, Minutemen being called.
It looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, this could be a tough fight with only 3 cav and a reinforcing batch from Diarouga. I mean, the Minutemen will help, but ultimately, Diarouga's still going to win that fight there. A village is being pulled off. Mind you, it's okay. He's only 4, and Diarouga doesn't feel comfortable enough to push in further or bell the villages up. Maybe come back when those Minutemen are lower.
He did see the 700 gold, right?
That's right.
But he's gonna be thinking like, all right, 700 gold, no big deal. I just sent 700 gold. I'm gonna be aging as well. Means he could still have Hussar out in the map. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean...
Something that food did allow him to do, Maito. Aizamk's already aging up, but Diarouga not quite there yet. So 700 food followed by 700 gold has allowed Ace to get a much faster age up in. But I wonder if, like...
It's also cost him a lot in villager seconds, right? Like, imagine if he just actually trained a bit of extra Hussars with those resources, and had also been idling Diarouga at the same time that Diarouga was idling him or something. Gonna be forced to fight with the CDB. There's no Great Coat just yet. Great Coat finishes now, but the Vil is safe anyway.
Yeah,
and, the CDB will fight that back, but all things considered, I feel like Diarouga is looking a lot stronger this game than last game. Villager's totally even. He's got away with 700 wood. He's up only like 20 seconds later.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's got his barracks up and stuff like that. He forced a lot of idle time on Aizamk, so he has a much larger bank as well.
And a Vil
to actually train units. And well, actually, he doesn't have more experience. It's roughly the same. So
no, but
I don't know. All things considered,
I mean, the key difference, right, is 700 wood over the food, which has allowed him to get those buildings down, and indeed the houses as well. So now that he's in the Fortress Age, he's just much better set up to sort of make use of it. Whereas Aizamk, he's going to have to chop wood for the houses. He's very low on population at the moment, but we should know better than to question the word of Aizamk. Aizamk does what he wants whenever he wants to, and I still have faith in him for this. He is up much faster than his opponent, and first shipment is now out 5 Dragoons here. So he's got a little bit of time to be annoying before Diarouga can get his stuff out on the board here. And it looks like Aizamk just going to start with 5 Goons and ship 5 as well. So for a total of 10 Dragoons on the battlefield at the moment. And let's see what he can do.
He'll be able to accomplish too much here, though, especially with the 8 skirm shipment popping out.
Yeah.
Gonna get a little bit of damage on that CDB, but definitely not gonna go down unless he wants to sacrifice a Dragoon for it, maybe. And loses a Dragoon, but the CDB gets away with 5 HP.
Yeah, very close. But Vil counts are still very, very even here. 32 to 32. I think Diarouga's... Okay, so Diarouga has some skirmishes, which is going to make these 10 Dragoons not overly effective. Mind you, they do have the mobility, so maybe whilst the skirms and goons are away, they're now coming towards Aze's base. Perhaps the red Dragoons can go and do something, since they are able to get around the map quite quickly. But that's not what he's doing. He's
for industrial question mark? Because he's got nothing in queue.
That does sound like something Aizamk would do.
Ace, you are so confusing. Anyway, some Vils in the front here. One gonna go down to those skirms. The rest gonna be forced to idle. I don't think he can afford to try and go industrial. right now with this push coming in and the hunt sort of on the backside there. Although Diarouga not going to push in too far. I think
I think
he's a little bit scared. He's like, he has no idea what's going on right now either. So
yeah, I
he's
mean,
going to back up.
it would make sense to push in, but he doesn't know that Aze is trying to go for an age up or something like that. For all he knows, Aze could be like massing units and have like a big pop ready. He's got Swiss pikemen in his deck or something stupid like that.
Well, it doesn't look like Aze is going to... Okay, I don't know. He had a Cuirassier in queue for a second there, but canceled it, and looks like he is going to save to age.
Yeah, he's done it. He's pretty much there. Just 100 more food. He's up to industrial. Thing is, though, his deck isn't as kitted out as I'd usually expect from Aze. I'd expect to see like 6 Cuirassiers in his deck, but 14 skirmishes.
It's going to be hard to pull that off, although he's going to buy a lot of time with this stable now being spotted on the side there, so all the units going to head over there and siege that down while he's
that's
aging.
why... Oh, I love that. That's why he made 3 Hussars in the beginning. He made Diarouga think it was a 3 Hussar shipment, but it wasn't.
Oh, of course. That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because then Diarouga would be like, oh, of course they're here this early because it's a shipment, because that gets there sooner, and then he's like, well... I haven't seen a military building back at home, so it was definitely a 3 Hussar shipment. Yeah, I guess that is what he was trying to do. Anyway, he's going to be up now, and as you said, not much in the deck, although those heavy cannons will help him deal with the skirmisher mass a little bit, but I don't know if just his mass in general could deal with the massive units that Diarouga has.
Yeah.
Does get 1 CDB on the side there, in exchange for his own proxy CDB that went down.
Is almost up. Let's take a look at what he's aging with.
Gotta be the engineer, right?
What,
or
for gold?
I guess it could be the tycoon.
Yeah, going up with the engineer for 2 falconets. And on the side here, just building an outpost and some barracks. Aizamk always likes his spawn points, and kind of makes sense to have an extra one just in case, he needs to ship his factories to somewhere else that isn't a war zone. So that just seems like a very Aze thing to do. And also it gives him some coverage on these hunts here. 2 falconets do a pop out, and that's going to match the 2 falconets of Diarouga that are a shipment, and we can only assume that Aizamk's first shipment will be 2 heavy cannons. That one makes really the most sense to send to deal with the imminent pressure. I mean, Diarouga just saw Aze click up or hit up, and is now going to be very proactive about pushing.
The real question is, does Aze have enough units to defend those heavy cannons? Because there's just a lot of stuff here for Diarouga. He's up 50 military population, so... this is going to be a tough push for him to hold, potentially. Going to be going onto that town center. Thankfully, there is an outpost for those heavy cannons to come out of. He's got some skirmishers out now as well.
Coming in for the crack shot with the Portuguese, with the Industrial Age Explorer. Does pick up the goon.
Money shot.
That is a good ability, and is gonna what do you call this? Juggling the vills. No, only once. Okay. So heavy cannons about to arrive, I would expect. Yet there they are, and blunderbuss coming in as well. So he intends to defend.
Center might just be down though.
He intends to defend the cannons with his villagers by the looks of it. He's teching them up for everything he needs. Yeah, villagers now coming out. Gonna get all the units in position. Doesn't have any skirms.
Down. 90 HP. The next volley on those Falcons is gonna take that out. Heavy cannons are here. Goon's gonna get into melee though, and that's gonna take them out pretty quickly with that multiplier. And this is looking like it's just falling apart.
Yeah, nice try, Ace. But not as
he's gonna try and trade off his own Falcons or his goons for the Falcons, so doesn't get it.
He has killed up basically. And, he's killed a lot of goons, but now he has no military left.
Yeah, I think this is likely the end of the game here without town center. With no military shipments left in Age 4 here, he's got to be sending like a factory or a Fortress Age shipment. He's got barely any infrastructure, no stable. All his resources are going to be under fire here in a moment. And at this point, Aze is just in for the fun.
Yeah.
And there we go.
GG. Just didn't have what he needed to defend the Dragoons, to defend his cannons away.
Yes.
Let's head on out and get into the next one. We are in a hurry today.
That was just what happens sometimes when you try to be Ace. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
It was a nice try. I'd really like to have seen his deck have like 14 skirms in it and, be a bit more prepared for the Industrial Age. But maybe that's partly why Ace just sort of tries he wants to try. He doesn't want to like give the game away, right? He doesn't put too many shipments in to make it sort of not too obvious. Okay, so the next match will be Baja, California, and we've got the Kamchatka overlay, but such is the way of things. And Diarouga will pick first. So let's see what civilization he goes for. We're now into the lobby. Ah, there it is. There it is. But we didn't get to see it for long. And it's only going to change to something else for the next game. So it was a bit redundant. But let's take a look at their civilization picks then. So Diarouga has thing to pick first here. He can't play as the French as he's just won with them. Diarouga, do we see him play Japan much? I have a feeling, I don't know why, but I have a feeling he might go for Japan.
He is a Japan player, but looks like it's going to be Otto, actually.
Huh, okay. I mean, I'm half expecting that. Let's take a look at the map overlay again. Is New England in the map overlay? I'm not sure if that's a map they're going to have to deal with, but I kind of expect Ottoman to appear on that map, or perhaps High Plains. Not the case. Going to pick them on Baja. Oh, I can get the Twitch chat up. That's true. Okay. Germany. All right. Germany versus Ottoman on Baja, California. What's the hurry? The hurry is we were 10 minutes late to this series, and because for reasons, but we're here now. And also, we've got 2 hours now, 10 minutes less than that actually to cast this series, and then afterwards we have a show match, an Age of Empires 2 show match. So we want to make sure that we can actually cover this series in that time. If it overruns drastically, I suppose me and Maito will finish the series on the ESOC channel. But the game is now starting. Ottoman versus Germany on Baja, California. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 3 in a best-of-5 series between Aizamk and Diarouga. This is the round of 16. The winner of this series will progress through to the round of 8, which happens to be more like a grand final than a usual round of 8, and that's simply because it is a qualification match. If they win this series, they will be able to play in the next one to qualify for the LAN. So a very important match to win here so that they can get to that sort of next one, so to speak. Oh, you caught me off guard. I was just going to do this. Thought I had a moment to do that. Got debated. But yes, we are now ready to take a look at the map. That's quite funny. I don't know why I'm finding that so funny. But here we have the Roga in the south of the map. No, this is the Roga, playing as the Ottomans. And by the looks of it, going to be starting with a mosque there. And he's going to chop wood for a house as well. It looks like he wants to build a trading post and a mosque at the same time. So the key difference here is that the mosque is much better on RE patch than it is on than on EP than it is on the RE patch. It gives 0.7 as opposed to 0.4. So that mosque actually a lot more valuable than usual, which is probably sort of why he's building it. And Ottoman get a pretty good age up anyway, so maybe he's not too concerned about being aggressive or something like that. Just wants to get the extra XPs in for whatever reason he has. But that is it.
It is going to slow him down, though, right? Like, there's no way that getting his villager shipment, like, it's maybe like 5 seconds sooner as a result of having this mosque or something. Maybe not even that, depending on when he gets the pass. And then in that case, like, he's just going to be 100 wood slower to age up, which sort of is fine. probably. It depends a little bit on what he's hoping to do. And I think having delayed his age up already, I'm kind of anticipating that he's not going to do something super aggressive. He might do some sort of fast fortress or something, because that type of build would be a lot more benefited from the slower mosque start than something aggressive.
Yeah, I wonder, that must be what he's got in mind. We'll take a look at his deck and see if there's anything different in there that might give us some clues, but it's Diarouga. I don't think his deck will look too different regardless, but I think we can be quite safe in assuming it will be something in the Fortress Age, which is why he wants all this extra XP so early on. But having said that, he does find 75 food treasure early on, and it's going to be an 80 wood treasure in the back there. So that food going to help the Ottomans sort of mitigate having to gather for that extra 100 wood, and that'll sort of help him with his age up time, so to speak. But let's take a look at what Germany's up to. 3 settlers now just coming in for 215. So Diarouga actually getting that later than A's somehow.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that happen? A's got 40 XP, I guess.
Either way,
that's weird.
It's about the same time. It's a couple of seconds we're talking about.
Yeah,
but we did expect Ottoman to be sooner just because of the mosque and all of that stuff.
He sort of didn't go for the optimal trading post. The top trading post is actually the last pass. And so I guess he maybe even didn't get the pass before he even got the shipment. Didn't really see. And that 40 XP is definitely helpful as well early on. So roughly the same time anyway on those shipments, but definitely interesting.
Yeah, let's take a look at
this middle trading post and not... Okay, well, he's not gathering wood.
Maybe he could... I bet you it's
he could just buy... Okay, he just sold some food. He's going to buy wood and then build this trading post? Yeah. Okay.
Clearly has intentions of building the trading post, and it's going down. Diarouga is going to spot that, but sort of makes sense. Germany, they didn't want to get it in Age 1 on a coin start, so are going to get it during transition, and it got his market instead in Age 1. Actually, I think he's just gotten that now because he hasn't got hunting dogs. But either way, should we take a look at their decks quickly? I did say we would. Let's have a look at what Diarouga's got. This is a water deck, so he has the potential to be on the water. He's got 3 galleys, 2 galleys, a frigate, and improved warships, as well as the schooners card. So let's turn the Fog of War off. Doesn't look like he's intending to send schooners, though. No villager on the coast building a dock or anything like that. It's just perhaps in the deck for show. But Germany is going to send a forward villager. This is very much something Aizamk would do. Possibly going to build an outpost. I don't think he'll have time for that. Probably just a forward barracks then.
This is just... Ace has just been doing this all series long. But it looks like it is going to be a tower, maybe. Just... Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe a tower's fine, though.
It would be pretty late.
You could still send 3 settler wagons as your first shipment. That's really good. And then build the tower as follow-up and ship crossbows to that going forward. It wouldn't be as fast, but actually just going to be building a barracks there. We'll take a look at A's deck. That's probably the more appropriate one to look at. And this is just surprisingly normal.
Well, aside from rendering plant.
And maybe advanced arsenal, but...
Yeah, those are cards you definitely don't normally see in German decks, but this middle trading post already paying off big time. It's already confirmed for A's that Diarouga is going for a fast fortress, having spotted that tower, and that means that this barracks could potentially do a decent amount of damage. Diarouga not going to be scouting Aizamk, which is probably a questionable decision, considering who he's playing against.
Yeah, scouting.
So he's going to have no idea what's coming. But the pikemen are just going to walk straight towards that northern trading post, it looks like, which will reveal Aizamk's hand pretty early on. And it looks like those are all the units that Ace is going to be making, actually. He's now switched his vills over to food and gold instead of food and wood. And maybe we're going to be seeing a 700 gold shipment coming next.
Yeah, and he's just popped himself as well, so he doesn't really intend to be building houses either. So clearly, I think he's just got his last vill in queue. That is training now, and will be going up to the Fortress Age by the looks of it. We'll see what his next shipment is to confirm, but probably 700 gold, although we did see 700 food from him before. But these pikemen definitely going to be able to kill that trading post here, which is going to be quite nice. Sort of makes sense just to sort of do... it's almost like a semi-fast fortress, but instead of raiding the villages, you're raiding the lots of XP that Ottoman wants. So looks like what Ottoman's doing, 700 coin first, and the outpost and tower, as you mentioned, and the coin, rather, that you mentioned, and he's got that age up. He's, in fact, halfway through already with... presumably the scout. We'll take a look. The scout's going to go for the 4 hussars.
Yep, which will allow him to apply a little bit of pressure once he ages up. Although maybe not so much if he doesn't know where the pikemen are, or the Uhlans might not want to risk losing those inside Aizamk's base. They might allow him to defend from raids, though, if the Uhlans are also inside his base, can pop those out from the town center. But there's some Janissaries out now. Going to be getting some siege damage done onto that middle trading post. But in the meantime, Ulan's going to come in for some idle time.
Yeah, Diarouga being much more diligent this time. Villagers not going to be caught, not going to be a mirror of that first game, and the Uhlans ultimately not going to be overly successful. Looks like they're now going to head down to group up with the other Uhlans at the trading post, and the pikemen here are going to be contested by the 4 Huss. The 4 Huss should be able to take this. 4 pikes is, well, obviously their counter, but if he's paying close attention, should be able to micro these down. Pikes are still not very expensive units and do die quickly. And a few supporting Janissaries in there. Mind you, traded off 2 hussars.
Get 2 Huss.
Yeah, 2 Huss
That's
for 4
a pretty
pikes.
Good trade for the pikes, I think.
Yeah, the pikes did just fine, right? But Ottoman now up. This is the scary part of the game for Germany. Ottoman, he's got his first batch of gens out, and with them he's going to kill off this trading post. And I expect to see, this is a good use of them just before. That's the trouble with the middle TP. He's able to take out this before his first shipment arrives, which he's waiting for anyway. And once they arrive, 2 falconets, there it is. Score should be 1-1.
Yeah,
yes, you're right. Pardon me, Pilatus.
Behind this, there's not much of a follow-up for Otto, right? Because he's lost both those trading posts. His Explorer's dead. He doesn't have Stagecoach or anything like that. And A's is also gathering for a mercenary shipment, by the way. So likely going to be the Black Riders, I assume. And that's going to do really, really well against all of units that Diarouga has in this game, or will be able to make.
Going in with a lance? No, just...
Thought about it, but
yeah.
took way too much damage.
Yeah, he went in a bit too deep before pulling out. That was not ideal, losing a lot of those Uhlans there. But he almost got the sneaky Falk kill, which is what he was going for. Does lose a couple of Ills there on the mine. But Black Riders should be able to adequately deal with the Falconets there.
Does he have time to send Black Riders?
If it's already on the way.
I don't think he has time. There's not enough HP on that town center. It takes 60 seconds.
Oh, he's not even up.
Yet.
Yeah, he's not even up.
There's no way he gets it. There's no way. And he's aged. Oh, he aged the marksman.
That makes a lot more sense.
That I didn't even notice he was aging slowly.
That's why it took him so long.
The town center is just dead now, and I think that with it being dead, well, he's got a tower up here, but the villagers going to just go in for the.
They're going in for the kill, but they're gonna. You can't trade them all off, A's.
Oh my god.
So many.
1,000 gold coming for Diarouga next. It means those Mamelukes probably going to be the next thing on the cards for him. And
he wanted to Vilbash down the Falconets, but didn't really present the opportunity to. And now these Janissaries and these Falconets just going to sort of stand here and destroy all the remaining buildings. And A's now very much popped. 54 units out of 20 population. He's going to have to rebuild all those houses before he can ship anything. He is not in a good spot at all. This is very concerning.
No, but he does have that one shipment on the way, and it is going to be the Black Riders arriving just now. And they are going to be really, really strong against everything here. So he might actually be able to clean up this, almost this entire army with some good micro, potentially.
Can he get the Falcons down?
The Black Riders here.
Does pick off.
Might lose a couple Black Riders here for those Falconets.
And
he's going to pull one back. Oh, well, loses one, but
did pick off the Falks. So
and now these his skirmishers can kind of do whatever they want to the Janissaries if he focuses them. But there's Mamelukes on the way.
I was about to say that at least Black Riders are very strong against Mamelukes, but the Janissaries, they feel a bit naked, right? They're not really doing much on their own. They're just sort of boring old musketeers, but they kind of need like cannons or something to complement them as a composition, so they can actually be effective as a unit. But they're very much like a supporting unit almost. They don't really do well on their own. The skirmishers, as you're saying, are going to be really effective against these, and has now got all his houses back up. But yeah, the supporting unit has arrived. The Mamelukes, where have they spawned to? Probably the forward tower. Here they are. We've got 4 Mamelukes on the board, and those are going to complement the Janissaries very, very well. Skirmishers are going to find it very difficult to do damage with these prowling around. But the Black Riders, they do very strong damage against cavalry such as Mamelukes. But that barracks going down here, A's has just been chopping wood all game long just to replace, and now the houses have been scouted, and Janissary's just going to go straight over there. No, actually, they're coming south. But he could just go back and kill all those houses at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, Ace is just trying to buy some time here with these units. One of the weaknesses of the Ottoman army is that they are very immobile with those Janissaries.
These skirms going to get cleaned up, mighty.
Yeah, he might be able to trade them off for a couple of Jans, but he's not turning and shooting.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to do this. This is one of the compositions you need to be adept with control groups for, which Hayes doesn't really heed that advice.
Yeah.
Loses the skirms there. Didn't really manage to pick up too many gens, and those Mamelukes all still alive
right now. But another Black Rider going to go down. Every Black Rider that goes down is huge. I don't know if 7 Black Riders is enough to win Ace the game, sadly. There is an 8 skirmisher shipment here, but the Mamelukes heading up to these gold mines. He knows that the Vils have to be up here somewhere, and those skirmishers don't want to get caught. Black Riders also sort of sticking around Diarouga's base, wanting to keep up some pressure. And yeah, going to force the Vils to run away. They're not going to run towards the tower, but they're not going to get spotted either, so not going to be under too much threat there. 1,000 wood coming out for Diarouga now, so might think about rebuilding those trading posts, start getting the stagecoach in, maybe some town centers, just start to consolidate an economic advantage now that he's done so much damage to Aizamk. Maybe even think about dropping some docks or something like that is certainly something that he could do.
Can just consolidate his advantage. Maybe that's the correct thing for Ace to do as well. Build a dock. It's cheaper than a town center, and it can functionally create a villager basically. So maybe both players want to do that. I'm just thinking back now. The slow age just wasn't ideal, and he lost his.
He's training spies to deal with those Mamelukes.
Ah, okay. So for those that don't know, spies 5 times 40 versus or 20 versus mercenaries.
Yeah, and having seen that the trading post has gone up for Diarouga on the scoreline now, he'll know where the explorer is because he knows he's going to want to build more trading posts. So he'll know that he can safely stealth those spies in around his army, around his opponent's army, and likely get some free hits off on those Mamelukes at some point. But I don't know if Diarouga is going to let that happen. He's just wandering aimlessly around the map, hoping to spot units and villagers while he builds this stuff up. But they're going to come in now. They're going to spot the army.
They are stealthed.
Not going to be able to do too much. The biggest advantage they'll give him at the moment is just information. Not that he can really do much with that information with his current.
He does have Jaegers
like that,
out.
But...
He managed to.
Oh, he did get Jaegers out. That is actually quite strong.
That's quite a lot of skirms.
Yeah, I mean, the skirms with the Jaegers and the spies could actually do quite well against this army if he cleans up those Mamelukes with those spies and Black Riders. So,
it's the trouble with the spy just
terrible.
has so few HP, but he doesn't have a town center behind this, and Ottoman has got a bigger economy. It's just like, when does that ever happen?
There's also Abyss guns in queue now, and once he gets even only like 10 Abyss guns out, it's going to be much harder for these Jaegers and skirms to be effective.
Oh dear. So just let's do a bit of analysis whilst we're waiting for something to happen. This outpost in the middle of the map, maybe he should have made, a few extra pikes and focused down the outpost that was next to his trading post rather than killing, the things that he did with those early pikemen. And then the cannons would have been delayed because they'd have to spawn at the tower. Maybe that give him a bit more time to get up to the fortress age and receive that first shipment, and he'd still have a town center and things like this.
Could be, or he could have just aged quickly. I don't know.
Just like,
if you kill the tower, like that's not lasting economic damage like killing the trading post is.
Yeah.
The trading post can be rebuilt, but like killing the trading posts is just
the spies, they came out of stealth
damage than killing tower in that sense. But here we go. Gonna be a fight. Mameluk's still up. Those spies not super effective. Not kiting back here either. But Mameluk's starting to get a little bit low. 2 of them down. Third one going to go down in a moment, probably. But the skirmishers in melee range with the Janissary is not exactly where you want them to be. And A's might barely win this by the skin of his teeth, but it looks like he won't.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of skirms for it. either way. Does pick off all those Mamelukes now. They're finally down, but trading off a lot of his Black Riders to do that, and the war wagons as well. And the supporting, he's now, like, the gens, they need a supporting unit. We keep saying this, and now starting to mix in Abyss guns, which is going to be that unit.
And they do really well against Jaegers. And with the Explorer snaring, that last Jaeger will go down. And there's not much A's can do from here, I think, with the weaker economy, no town center, no
bit of a raid in base,
barracks or anything.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it's not like he's lost too many vills, although he is about to. He's just not been able to train any vills. That was, I think, the key moment this game. Okay, 3 war wagons going to arrive with 3 Olans as well, and the village is going to come out. These are settler wagons. They have a lot of HP, although lots of them don't because they've been attacked already.
And there's no great coats either.
And they're going to get beaten down pretty quick. And A's going to call it their GG. A very strong start from A's in game 1, but Diarouga picking up the next 2. Just not performing here. A's with his French in the previous game, and now with the Germans here either. I think the key moment to talk about was his town center going down, his decision to slow age rather than fast age. They're perhaps a little bit greedy, wanting the skirmishers. Just didn't get up quite in time, and I wasn't able to send the mercenaries. They just weren't on the battlefield. If they were there sooner to defend the town center, would have been fine, and this game could have perhaps been very different. But
might not have even needed Black Riders, like just age faster and send war wagons, and you can just sit there and attack the army forever, right?
Yeah.
But
having said that, though,
sadly not the case.
All resources gathered. Germany's actually really not that far behind. At the end of the game, it's 15,000 for Ottoman and 14,000 for Germany, which is really quite. It's just awesome. And
yeah, I mean,
they don't need.
That's why I feel like killing the trading posts was the correct call, because if he hadn't killed those trading posts and he'd gone for the tower instead, like the same thing could have happened where he loses the town center, or almost loses the town center, and then Diarouga just builds that last trading post to get stagecoach, right? And then it's just much harder. But I don't know.
Yeah. And has a saying in the chat that he thinks that Aizamk probably would have won that fight, the big one at the end there, if he'd kited with the Jaegers and stopped those Janissaries from being able to shoot at them without having to get into range first. Didn't abuse that skirmisher range advantage.
No.
It looks like Diarouga having some trouble finding the map in the list. I mean, all the map, yeah, he's found it there. See, this one's called Deccan, where all the other maps are called ESOC. So, like, they appear further down the list than where you'd expect them to be. But Diarouga will pick first. And we'll see what civilization he comes out with on Deccan. You said he's a Japan player. I feel like Japan... British. Okay. We've been seeing a lot of British on Deccan.
Yeah, with mixed success, feels like. I mean, they just make a lot of sense on Deccan because they have a lot of different ways they can use the extra starting crates. But, I mean, there's lots of ways for all civs to invest into trading posts and other things like that with those crates as well. So we'll see what Aizamk's response is here.
Yeah, he's thinking it through. I mean, I could see A's picking really anything, and that's especially improved by the fact that Deccan is just a map that you can do anything on. There's so many extra resources at the start. You can make a trading post as civs that usually wouldn't. India going to come out, and India traditionally quite strong on Deccan as well, but not for the reasons... I feel like A's not going to be picking Deccan for those same reasons. Aizamk always playing differently. He's built his own style, and he's very good at it. Not the greatest example in the last 2 games, but I still have a lot of faith in A's, and as you've been saying, Aizamk traditionally quite strong against Diarouga in tournaments, usually has performed quite well against him. We'll see if he can pull something out of the bag this time around.
Yeah, I wonder what the plan is with this India this time, because it feels like it's not going to be the standard forward aggro stuff that we usually see, but I'm not sure what other options really feel Aizamk-esque enough for him to do.
Someone in the chat thinks I'm Zach. No, I'm Interjection, aka Will, although this is a very similar jumper to Zach's one. It's that white fleece that you saw. But yes, we are spawning into Deccan. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be game number 4 in a best of 5 series between Diarouga and Aizamk. Let's start with Diarouga. Here he is in the south of the map in the color blue. This is match point for him. If he wins this game, he'll progress through into the next round, which is the qualification round. And if he wins that, he will qualify for the LAN and be invited to Manchester to compete here on the main stage. But here he is, playing as the British. And by the looks of it, looking to build a trading post in Age 1 there. I wonder if he'll crack shot that 30 food. Going to place the trading post and come back for the food once he's finished building the trading post there. But not going to be heading onto the plateau right away, which is what we see a lot of players do since there are lots of yaks on the plateau there. But nor is his opponent, India, on the top of the map, going to be ignoring those yaks for the time being as well. One monk building a trading post in the other. Looks like Aizamk managed to pick up 50 coin there before he now is going to go out onto the map. But actually going to visit the side here. Is he going to build a second trading post? He's not got the wood for that, but he's not going to go on the plateau. But we do see a forward villager from Diarouga. He's going to place a manor in the middle of the map there. How did that villager even get there without scouting those two? How did he miss those? Like, they're not... I guess the villager just slightly took the wrong trajectory. Not going to get those yaks, but there is a manor in the middle of the map.
Yep, looks like A's is going to go for the 10-10 with that forward trading, or that early trading post, which is something you can do with India on this map. But, well, he's not actually going to have a whole lot of idle time, as he's going to put some vills onto that gold mine just to buy an extra 100 wood, get that house down. Although I feel like, yeah, there we go. He's going to switch to the food first to get the wonder down before he does that with the gold there, as he won't be able to train a vill anyway when he builds that house. But looks like it is going to be a forward agra, maybe. I don't know if there's space for him to build a forward agra anywhere near here. Might have to reconsider.
Be a little awkward. He's found a spot for it there. Does manage to place the foundation. It's very big and sometimes tough to get the foundation down on a map like Deccan with trees and berries and all the spots. But has found a place for it on the side here. What is it guarding, though, really? I mean, I suppose there's a couple of hunts nearby, and it gives him sort of mid-map presence. But not the most defensive or offensive building. It feels a bit awkwardly placed.
Yeah, well, that's just... Part of the problem was, well, first of all, there's all these manors and stuff here that kind of restrict the placement.
That makes a lot of sense from Diarouga. He's placing the manors in the key spots to deny placement. I actually quite like that. Using his early manors, instead of building them in base or using them to make walls, he's found another use for them, which is really nice, denying a placement for the Agrafort. And he's forced it into this really awkward spot, which is really nice for him.
Yeah, and it will also grant him some line of sight later on when there might be some sea boy coming across the map or something like that, give him some warning. Oh, he's going to place some walls as well. That's cheeky. But, man, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Also just
line of sight.
Because A's didn't scout the middle plateau very much with his monks, so he didn't really have a lot of information about possible locations to place that Agrafort either.
Look at this, even more walls from Diarouga. He's just going to basically keep that Agrafort all penned in, and he's going to make it very difficult for the units to get it. I think there is an opening through these trees that he can get through. Going to herd those foods away as well, make them sort of less useful to the nearby Agrafort. But it's going to make it awkward for units to come out of this location, and he's going to have line of sight when they go inevitably past the walls. Mind you, on EP, these walls don't have particularly much line of sight, but they're still going to see some things And yeah, this is going to make the aggro fort less useful for sure. But Aizamk now up to the colonial age here.
Yeah, with a
Aizamk
second trading post as well. So pretty greedy from him so far. He's got some seapoy in queue.
and Diarouga up as well, going up with the outpost and 200 coin. I'm going to place the outpost at home there.
Yep, now saving up some wood for a barracks as well. Well, I assume it's a barracks. Could be a stable. There we go. It is going to be a barracks.
Okay, and behind his base there, nice and safe from anything aggressive from India. Sepoy are now in queue for India as well, and we'll see what he makes of these walls now that the units have been trained. They're going to have to siege them down. Well, at some point they'll do that, but I think they can escape through these walls.
They might have a path. Yeah, there's a path that he can just walk through, so these walls actually not super effective. Diarouga maybe not being quite on point with those.
No.
So really, all they do is give some more vision of what's going on here.
It cost him 30 wood for all this wall, so it's not a huge issue. And he does get to see the units come out.
Plus the idle time, but yeah.
Couple of sepoy and the monks in base. Doesn't look like they're able to do anything just there. And
but you might pick up a vill on the back here. No, Diarouga going to spot that, move away pretty quickly. Diplomatic intrigue going to come in now. Consulate going down. 4 A's, we'll see what he uses that for. Most likely going to be the Ottoman consulate. Or it could be the French consulate as well. Knowing A's, the crates are something that he would probably end up using.
Alright, let's take a look at Aizamk's deck then and see if there's anything funky. You know, all his decks are surprisingly reminiscent of things that aren't too far gone. Mind you, a couple of elephant upgrades, or an elephant upgrade in here, and Durka Suffering.
Yeah.
Enemy units nearby Indian monks are now slower. That's not a card you very rarely see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, like, solid effect, to be honest, on the monks. Like, it really means that you can, like, take fights or retreat from fights sometimes, as long as your monks are alive and you don't lose them. But in terms of, like, resource value, it's pretty low. But it's an interesting card that we, again, yeah, as you said, we don't see very often.
Perhaps we'll
Other
see
than
that.
that, though, the deck is not super non-standard.
No, just a regular
no
good
Gurkha
faith agreements
or anything in there.
Okay. But, I mean, Gurkha/Skirmisher, not really something A's is overly. I think he's much better with those sort of timings where units just pop out on top of your opponent. We saw, like, perhaps not as great with Skirmisher and Dragoons like we saw from the previous game, perhaps. But let's talk about what Diarouga's up to. Very normal sort of British things at the moment. He started with 700 wood, followed by 5 villages, followed by 600 wood. That sort of very standard British build order to get out lots of manors. And he's also got good upgrades as well. Steel traps and now getting placer mines in. Looks like he's gotten a solid musketeer mass and is going to come and destroy this trading post. You can see that there are 3 on the UI and probably knows it's these 3 because he scouted one earlier, I think, in the base. So going to come in here, try and deny it, and make that stagecoach less useful. And stagecoach is now in. I wonder if that trading post will get a pass before it goes down. If it does, it's absolutely worth it. Yeah, it does get a pass in here. So despite losing it, it's fine, because the pass came in for however much wood or whatever resource he decided there. And now I'd expect to see Roga try and place it himself, if he maybe just buy some wood and just do that with his explorer. Not going to do that just yet. It looks like Aizamk will pick up a villager kill on the top here, but not before Diarouga does get this wall down.
Doesn't quite pick off a musketeer. Wounded tiger, axe hilt the tame tiger, gonna come in for Diarouga, potentially just gonna use that to sponge up some damage in the fight, or maybe even do some scouting later on. But A's might consider rebuilding that trading post. We'll see. Diarouga has a lot of resources, so he's definitely going to be going for an age up here. And A's looks like he's going for an age up himself. And no, looks like that trading post is going to be grabbed by Diarouga. But economically, looking pretty even. There's going to be a 1 trading post advantage on that stagecoach line for A's, so very, very slightly ahead. But not going to be a super big deal.
Yeah. What do you think A's is doing then? You mentioned he's trying to get the age up in. He's almost got all of the resources for that. Let's see where he places his wonder.
I don't presume to know the mind of A's.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Wonder is now down. Gonna go up with the Tower of Victory.
Okay, and that will give him 800 wood to work with, potentially for another town center or some upgrades, some more military buildings, etc. Lots of stuff he can spend that on. It's looking like he's also sort of transitioning into Gurkhas and Zambraks.
Coming forward with Musks. Looks like the Gurkhas this time will do some kiting. Looks like they're going to try and siege that, but are they in range? No, he's just staying just out of range here, so he's going to deny those Musks the ability to siege down that trading post. But having said that, looks like some longbowmen coming in now, and these have more range than the Gurkha. Sepoy are getting a bit overzealous and deciding to go in themselves without being told to, and they do take a couple of hits. Looks like the presence of the longbow will make it possible for the musketeers to siege down the trading post, and A is going to lose another point on his up. Remember, this is Stagecoach, so this is not too good for him. Where's the Diarouga Explorer? He's probably thinking about, yeah, it's right there. He's going to build it. He's got the wood as well. He's going to place that down as soon as it's destroyed for himself.
Yeah, a bit of a raid coming out in on the west side of Diarouga's base. Looks like it might get one Vil kill. Yeah, should be able to get at least one Vil here, maybe two if he's really good about it, but no, not quite. With the muskets coming in, going to be forced to retreat there. But this is looking a little bit scary for A's, I feel like, with the mass starting to grow for Diarouga, with a potential Falconet shipment coming behind this. And with 2 trading posts now picked up for British as well. Oh, the Soars.
Yeah,
gonna get snared by the Explorer, but probably not going to take too much damage here.
No, they can escape. They got a lot more speed. Looks like they're okay for the time being. Yeah, not looking ideal for A's. There's that 2 Falk shipment you mentioned, but A's now up to Fortress Age as well. He can get his upgrades in. Let's take a look at his deck again. Does have 7 Yarumi in there. I'm going to add in a barracks as well next to his Agra fort, but yeah, here comes the pressure. Diarouga, this is a good time for him now. The Falconets have arrived. He's just got his veterancy in on his musketeers. I wonder if he'll research it for the longbowmen as well. He's got 200 wood in the bank there and plenty of population, so he doesn't need to spend it on houses, and there seems to be just enough longbowmen to make it sort of worthwhile. But the point is, here he comes. The Falconets, they're very well guarded. They're creeping forward, and he's going to park right outside this Agra fort and start knocking on the door here. Aizamk now has to answer the door. That's probably the first time I've used that analogy. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it works.
Seems okay. So he's got a shipment on the way, I believe. Urumi have arrived as well, but yeah, I mean, the Agra fort's likely going to go down before he can really do anything about it. The army's actually moving further away from the Agra fort, so has no intentions of defending that.
British East India Company.
Huh, it's going to be strengthening his Soars and Sepoy, but he doesn't really have all that many, and he's got Hauda in queue, so that's kind of a weird shipment to be sending, it feels like.
Hessian Jaegers.
I mean, it affects his Gurkha as well, but I mean, it feels like if you're going to be investing in Hauda, maybe Elephant Combat would be good or something.
British East India Company. Yeah, interesting. But 10 Jaegers going to follow up this push as well, and that's going to add to this composition really nicely. And he did get veteran longbowmen in as well.
Those are going to be really nice against the Hauda as well.
Yeah, and this forward barracks going to go down, and a couple of houses out on the front as well. Of course, they're for line of sight, but now they're quite vulnerable to being killed.
Yep.
And it looks like...
So Ace has another shipment on the way. Could be the siege elephants. That would make dealing with these falconets a little bit easier. But
2 Mahout
It's
Lancers.
going to be Mahout Lancers.
Yeah, it doesn't have siege elephants in the deck.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't. Why would he? He's Ace.
Yeah, but that's, you know, the 2 siege elephants are really useful for killing falconets, like we know. But he has done a little bit of damage to those falcs using the Agra fort. Hauda now coming in on the side. The Huss do go down.
They're gonna get that. They're gonna get the falcs for sure.
Yeah, coming in with a flank.
It's actually a
Sour
really
on the
good
top.
position for Ace with the inspiration
Yeah,
coming in as well.
Mahouts.
Mahouts getting right on top of the longbows.
This is ideal.
And the Minutemen coming out from
And
the town
the-
center and the Ottoman consulate. He's actually going to clean up this whole army, maybe.
Yeah, big timing from Ace. And Ace very well known for his sort of big timings there, very good at executing on them. Everything appeared all at once, just as it needed to. The Hussars, the Howdah, although the Hussars did go down, and the Mahouts, everything coming in here. The Urumi.
Yeah, although the cavalry have sort of been cleaned up, there's still some Urumi left here, but there's a lot of ranged infantry.
Yeah, and he's
or
not
light
snared, so
infantry left.
is able to get back there. One Urumi on top. I don't think there's enough to really do a huge amount of damage. And now reinforcing batches of Hussars coming in here. Looks like that push forward is over for Aizamk. Most of those Jaegers still alive. Let's switch on over to...
That being said, he's still doing a good job here. The Hussars are being picked off by those Howdah. All 4 Howdah still alive. And, he's still pushing forward with his army here.
Oh, and walking in there. Not ideal.
In.
Yeah, looks
And
like he's...
yeah, Ace is actually going to manage to clean up this army, it looks like.
He did finally manage it. Are they in
Although
hand
his Howdah
combat?
walking right into melee range with the Musketeers, which is
Was that intentional?
questionable. No way. It's not. There's. Well, okay, actually, it is intentional. They're in melee mode.
Yeah, they're in melee
39
combat.
hand
I
attack.
guess just to keep the snare. I mean, they're
They
very,
do
very
39
big
hand
units.
attack in melee, but he lost 3 Howdahs doing that. I'm not sure if it was worth it.
Yeah, it does seem kind of
Those are
awkward.
really, really expensive units.
Can he take this final...
Intervention coming now as well. Going to give him 4 Hussars behind this.
He could send the that final Howdah back and have his monks heal it up.
Does he have any monks alive?
No, they're dead.
No, they're both dead.
Not ideal. Okay, but Aizamk in a fine spot then. He's gotten up. The economies are quite even, although it is in favor of Diarouga, both in the... because he has the... Well, it's probably even because of the trade route. And here, Aizamk is going to clean up those Hussars, and that puts him decisively ahead in terms of military. Looks like he's going to add in a second town center.
Yeah, I mean, although it's just like a really weird composition of units, though, right? That, like, he's got a lot of Soars, that he's got like a handful of Gurkha and Minutemen, and like a low HP Howdah, and then he's got some Gurkha down here sieging a wall for some reason.
Oh, they've been there the
it's
whole
just-
time. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been there the whole time, but it's not like a super effective composition against this musket mass from Diarouga.
Yeah. But Red's still ahead on economy.
Yeah, he's still like this is probably a pretty even position to
Yeah.
be in at the moment.
And Diarouga can't scale very, very well now. He's used up all his mana slots.
And he's
Okay.
sort of run out of hunts as well. He's on berries and what? Wait,
Coming in for a big
Is what-
fight here, but there's a lot of musketeers. I'm a little worried for the for all that cav. Some of them doing a good job on top of the longbows. Some sepoy in the back there, but I think British ultimately have this fight. Does have a town center up, so can call his centuries and irregulars. All the cav now gone, but the Gurkha now coming in,
Those-
and they're going to be very effective against the musketeers.
yeah, that was kind of a weird fight for Maze, but he's managed to pull it off with the infantry coming in from all sides. Traded off the Soars for a lot of the muskets. Yeah, it looks like he is probably going to hold this position. And Diarouga is really running out of resources. He's got 400 gold left on this mine. 2,000 left on the big gold mine back at home still. But all the villagers on food are on berries at this point. And with A's retaining map control here, it's going to be only getting harder for British if those berries start to run out.
Yeah, and losing his stable on the side here as well. Looks like the musketeers and longbowmen are going to come in, and perhaps they can finally pick off that Howdah and this hodgepodge of random units. They're gonna get forced away. Yeah, okay, so let's take a step back and do some assessment then. Let's take a look at the villager numbers. Aizamk definitely ahead, and a second town centre as well, and one stagecoach TP there. In terms of hunts, he's still got berries in his base, and he's still got hunts as well, so Aizamk in a fine position there. His opponents, on the other hand, as you mentioned, on berries, and not got any map control. This town centre locking down the hunts. I suppose he could come out and sort of hunt on the side here. He's got that wall to pass through if he's ever in a spot of trouble.
Yeah, he might be a little bit... I
So
mean, he's not over there right now because there were Gurkha just standing there the entire time. But
Yeah.
he could think about moving over there at some
I'm sure
point.
we'll see him head in there at some point. One thing Diarouga does have going for him is these two stagecoach, but with the two town centres up, I'm not sure it's you know, Aizamk doing fine for economy. What does
Yeah.
what does the British player need to do then? This is kind of looking a bit awkward. Firstly, establish
He's
map.
training. He's training falconets. That's what he does.
Ah, very good. Doesn't take me to the foundry.
I don't know where I don't know. There it is. It's on the right side here.
Okay. And that sort of works. I guess he's got coin in base, so it makes sense to be gathering so that if you place a foundry, you can make use of the coin better when you've not got any food, since, of course, falconets don't cost any coin. I'm sure we'll see him switch over momentarily if he intends to actually use the foundry, which I'm sure he does.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to be a little bit scary for Aizamk. With this unit composition, he doesn't have really much that can effectively deal with those falconets. He also doesn't have any idea that they're going to be out until they show up on top of his army. Gurkha walking up to the training post for no reason whatsoever, going to be walking away. One villager might go down to these longbows as well.
He might have scouted he might have scouted the falconets with that Vil. Probably rallied there because of the stuff with the unit shipment. Has got the Durka suffering though.
Yeah, he's also got some Mahout Lancers out. And he's sort of got his units positioned on the flank here as well, so if all things go well, if he comes in from all angles again, those falconets not going to be as effective as their area damage.
Sorry.
Going to be.
You just said it's an inside joke. No one will get it except the guys in the office. But you said you said Ace is coming in from all angles. Sorry, no, it's not. It's only funny to me.
All right. Okay.
It was some radio presenter said on the radio. He said, "I've got some music for you today, coming at you from all angles," and it was just so ridiculous. And now you've said it.
But yeah, Ace is coming in here with the Gurkha suffering, going to be slowing down those falconets. But his Gurkha are kind of split up on the cliff here, and it looks like he's not actually going to get onto those falconets. And Mahout's coming in. I mean, this positioning is actually not that bad for Ace, but we'll see. I think he is actually probably going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, just needs to get onto the.
Have gone down.
He is focusing.
And I think Ace has won.
Yep. Falconets do go down. He's been focusing the whole time, and now can return to shooting at the military units and the musketeers. It's just a ton of Gurkha and Sepoy here. I love how they're standing on top of the cliff there. They are going to take down all these units. Diarouga trying to finish off that Mahout so that he can escape. It is snaring him. But the area damage is... No, not going to get one final blow. Now he can escape, but with what? Does have three falconets.
More falconets.
But, yeah, and that's going to deter all this infantry for the time being, but desperately needs to support the falconets with some infantry. He's just going to go straight for them. Has the Rajputs here. And he's now on top, and some Sepoy in melee combat as well.
As everyone knows, Rajputs are the best counters to falconets.
And they do manage to take all three down. That's so expensive. Those Falcons going down.
So many units that are in this fight. Come on. But yeah, I think at this point, losing all of those falconets, like the gold mine back at home is going to run out. All he has left is the 1,000 gold left on this silver mine once that's gone, and. Yeah, it's going to be GG.
Diarouga
like,
calling GG.
He's hunting on the side here where the army is, and once Ace wins that fight, he's going to push on to the Vils, and then the economy is just going to be dead from from Diarouga, sorry.
All right.
So, I feel like...
Let's continue our analysis
I did not
in the lobby.
expect Ace to win any of those fights, to be honest, but he positioned really well.
Yeah, we're going to get into the next game straight away. We don't want to spend any time waiting around, since the show match... between Lan and Villesa is due to start in 20 minutes' time. So let's hope for a quick... Actually, I think we can run over a bit, but we want to start as soon as possible. Let me leave that. But well done to Ace. Let's continue our analysis of the game there in the lobby here.
Trying to remember exactly how things turned out. I mean, it was really just down to unit positioning. Like Ace just had a
what is the last
really
map deck?
good spread of units that surrounded Ace or Diarouga's army every single fight. New England, yeah.
And Rogue Aizamk picks first. He can no longer play as India, and he can no longer play as the British. So A's pulling it back. It's now 2-2. It comes down to this final game.
And Diarouga will pick Aztec, calling it now.
Yes, classic Aroga. Aizamk very strong with the Aztecs. It's as if he's played a lot, and I think he takes a lot of pride in being an Aztec player. There's not too many players that are super strong with Aztecs, and I think it's a lot of time he's put into it to become sort of good with Aztecs. So I think Roga, I've seen him pick Aztecs on this map before, though the last time we saw A's and Diarouga play, they started with a fort wagon every single game. Actually, you guys haven't seen that yet. It's still sitting as a recording on my computer. I will edit that very soon and get it out. But with the New World Championships, things have been kind of busy, and maybe SmackDown should be taking a break whilst there's, not only show matches that we're doing on Escape, but also this New World Championship. I think we ought to sort of wait for that. But Aizamk going to be picking the Portuguese here, and Spain and coming out from the Roga.
Okay, not going to go with Aztec, but this is a matchup we've seen a lot now on this map. And Porch is a civ that A's is very comfortable with. I wonder if we'll see the 10-10 or the 11-20. The good old A strats.
The 11-20, how does that work? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's the 11-20, right.
The EP version of the 10-10, apparently.
Okay. Looks like A's just checking his deck before he goes in, I would imagine, which is just taking him a moment. Needs to make sure all of the correct cards are available to him, especially when you're playing as A's. It's especially important. Okay, looks like we are launching in now. I was going to ask you how you thought the Suffering card for the slower speed would work, but I don't think we have time to do that, or how effective it was, rather. But ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 5 in a best of 5 between Diarouga and Aizamk. The winner of this game will progress through to the qualification round. This is not the qualification round itself, but the winner will get to play it. The loser will drop down to the lower bracket, where there is still an opportunity to qualify, but you do have to go through more games and really prove that you're worthy down there. It is going to be perhaps a bit harder, but spawning in the south of the map, in the color blue, we do have Diarouga in this final game. The score is 2-2, playing as the Spanish. I'm quite excited. I really do like seeing the Spanish. And indeed, we've been seeing a lot of Spanish on this map. Diarouga going to continue that trend.
Diarouga's missing 2 gold mines? Sadly.
Yeah, he is definitely missing 2 gold mines. That is for sure. A's has got 1, 2, 3, and plus his starting mine. And Roga's just got the 1, which is definitely not ideal. That's the trouble with New England. It is an RE map. Usually we play on ESOC maps, but we really like New England, so we wanted to include it in the pool. But let's get on out of here. And
there's a new version of New England, right? I don't know if it's been included yet, though.
There is a new version of New England. It will probably make its way into the next EP. I think maybe, I don't know when it will go live.
Oh well, hopefully we don't have to restart too many times here.
All right, we are loading back in again. Maybe you can talk about the speed card for the monks.
I don't think it really did anything last game,
yeah,
to be honest.
that was my thoughts as well. The monks just sort of walked in there and died. None of the units
wanted to move in that fight anyway, really.
Yeah,
so
musks and falcons,
really
they're pretty...
much.
And longbows, they're all pretty happy just to stand there. No one was trying to retreat. But A's just being A's, I suppose. But and it works. Spawning in the south of the map, in the color blue, we have Diarouga again, and it is a 200 wood start this time.
I think we're good this time.
Yeah, that looks fine. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so everything's all good here. And let's see where that Spanish explorer goes. We've been seeing a lot more of Spain, as I mentioned. 60 food, gonna pick that up right away there. I'm just going to use the War Dog whilst it's nearby, just to clean it up. 60 food, a nice pickup. And then I wonder if we'll see him go and build a trading post. Looks like none of the villagers are on wood, and he's already built the house, so I don't think he intends to do that. Can slow you down quite a lot. Building that trading post in Age 1. Can definitely get it in the transition. That's a fine thing to do. But 95 wood, that might change his mind, Maito. I've seen that with the War Dog. I'm not sure if he used his crack shot on the 60 food treasure.
I think he did, but I imagine he'll go back for that as soon as that's up.
Yeah, and then all he has to do is gather 5 wood. and build a
He is
trading
going
post.
for the good old 1120. It looks like
The
looking at his population. He's also going to pick up a villager treasure here, which will be nice for him, unless it gets spotted here by Diarouga, which it very well might. Diarouga's kind of ignoring that wood treasure for the time being, just to maybe come in and try to steal something. But thankfully for Ace, he did reset the treasure, which is actually going to be a good thing for him here.
Yeah.
As he'll be able to retreat, and Diarouga will not be able to start that safely.
This bear going to get full HP as well in a moment. And yeah, Diarouga not going to be able to steal that. But the War Dog and the Spanish Explorer are going to be able to force the Portuguese guy home. But I don't think he minds too much. It's not like he was denied a treasure or anything like that. But yeah, let's talk about this 1120. So usually on the... usually we see what we call a 1210. Which is where you get up to 9 villagers and then ship 3 villagers and you overpop to 12 and you only have 10 population. The Portuguese can't do that since they don't have villager shipments, so they can't overpop. He hasn't selected his deck just yet. But what they can do is make 10 villagers out of 10. But because on EP you start with less food, I suppose he's going to build an extra villager. And
you start with less food and your villagers are cheaper, yeah. So he's determined that apparently it's more worth it to construct the house and get an extra villager. But he's going to be eating up the sheep now to try and age up.
He's
but
clearly...
the reason that the reason that this works, though, like normally you don't want to idle your town center because you just end up with less vills. But the reason it works with ports is because if you idle your town center to age faster, you're just going to get your second town center faster, which means you're going to get vills from your second town center sooner. So it kind of compensates for the fact that you idled your town center a bit. And it also lets you it gives you more freedom with that town center positioning. So you can get it down very early, avoid maybe taking some siege damage while it's under construction and stuff like that. So that's kind of the thought process here. Also looks like Diarouga not going to be going for advanced trading post. But A's will be going for advanced trading post.
Ah, okay, I didn't notice.
Villager are going to come down to help construct those.
Yeah, but... yeah, Diarouga does get the 1, and that's pretty cheap for him because of the 95 wood treasure. But yeah, that War Dog is going to chase the Explorer down. He's got plenty of HP, so we'll be able to build it. But Advanced Trading Post is going to make these very cheap. And I wonder, though, if he can get the next one. He does have a War Dog and an Explorer attacking him here. And now that he's in range, you could see Diarouga training a second War Dog or something like that. But this Explorer will get this trading post up, but I'm not sure if it can build the next one. Oh, it might not even get the...
He might not get it up. He's going to wait for the age up before he tries to finish that, maybe? Or maybe just going to leave and try to kill that War Dog
he's
first.
going back in. Yeah, he's going to kill the War Dog, which he does do.
Kill the War Dog,
and he'll get 100
the age up
HP
comes in.
with the age up. Is it going to go up? Surely. Okay, he gets the extra
I
100
really
HP.
like what he was doing there, by the way. He walked into melee range because you take less damage in melee.
Yeah.
Instead of the shot there, so...
Yeah, I saw that as well. I was going to say, but you said it first. That's a brilliant point, actually. It's really, really like the nuance kind of thing. It's just like the things you get excited about, right? Like those small little things.
Yeah, like the minutiae of micro tricks right there.
Yeah.
But Town Center going down very aggressively in typical Aizamk fashion. And this is just something that A's has always loved to do.
Yeah, and
there's
it's next to
barracks
the...
going down on the other side as well. Not going to be covered by the Town Center, but the Town Center is going to cover a lot of hunts here. Going to control the pond a little bit. But Tower, going to go down next to this barracks, will also help control the other side of the pond. But I think that Tower might be under a little bit of threat once A's gets some units out here.
Yeah, let's take a look at units in queue. He does have pikemen, which is another classic A's thing to do. And that outpost is right next to where the pikemen spawn. It looks like it will go up, though, before anything can be trained, so it's not going to be taking bonus damage or anything like that. But Spain already indicating what he wants to do from that outpost, and just confirmed from the 700 coin here. We're seeing the fast fortress from the Spanish player. It looks like he wants to get up to the fortress stage very, very quickly, and he's got 2 trading posts, which is really nice. I like that decision because he knows his opponent went with the advanced trading post there. And it's going to make it harder to get all of the route for Aizamk. Oh, he's going to ignore the outpost.
Going for the 700 food, which is not the greatest shipment in terms of resource value, but it does allow him to continue training villagers from both town centers without any idle time, as well as train these units from the barracks at the same time. So in that sense, it's quite good for him. It's a little bit like a villager shipment in that sense. But
Yeah, when it would usually be very difficult to keep training from 2 TCs. Doesn't look like he's interested in that tower for the time being. He's going to send the pikemen up to the trading post here, which makes a lot of sense. He's invested in quite heavily to trading posts with advanced trading posts there, so he wants to be able to finish off all these sockets and is going to use this sort of early downtime that Spain is not going to be threatening or be really doing anything. Spain just want to be getting up to the next stage, is not going to be training any units here, and he's now clicked up, and let's take a look at what he's going up with. I expect either to see the scout or the which one is it? Text being researched. Gonna go with the Admiral of the Ocean Sea. Okay, so gonna get a caravel, and we can see he's placed his water spawn point in the pond there. So he's gonna have a caravel in the pond, and that's kind of that explains the tower placement a lot as well. And he can sort of hide away from this town center. The town center not gonna outrange him all that far. Down here.
Does that caravel in that particular pond actually do anything in this situation, though? Aside from maybe give him a little bit more mobility and stuff like that, as he can sort of cross over the pond and stuff. But I don't think it's gonna. Well, it might barely be in range of that barracks. I'm not sure, but it's not gonna be in range of either of these trading posts. It's not gonna be able to do anything to the town center on the other side.
Yeah, I guess it's just the better alternative. I mean, what are the alternatives? Are 4 cav or 8 pikes, or you put the pond in your opponent's pond, or you put the ship in your opponent's pond, which I guess isn't really as useful. I guess killing that barracks is fair enough with it, and 400 wood in a caravel is probably just as good as 8 pikes or 4 cav. Maybe it's even better.
I mean, it definitely is in terms of like resource value. The 400 wood is going to be nice, but might be a little bit less pressure on to land. But it looks like the barracks is actually going to go down to the musketeers, so we'll see if the caravel's in range anyway. Looks like it's not. But A is going to come in while that barracks goes down. Maybe going to get a house in exchange for that, which is a decent trade for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
it is in range of that barracks, actually.
Okay, does take that out. And these musks
He's
are going to
looking
start
like
on the trading post.
Yeah, which will take some damage on these units. Although at the moment it's focused onto the Explorer. Aizamk not paying attention in that trading post at the moment. If he does, I imagine he'll switch on to a Musketeer. Although if he does kill the Explorer, that's not the worst trade either. But in the meantime, he's still going to be trading off these buildings for some more of Diarouga's buildings as the market goes down. Maybe going to get another house as well. He knows where the army is, so he's pretty safe to do this. And 2 Falc's going to come for Diarouga as his first card here, which will help him safely siege these trading posts from range.
He's just trading off all his houses, though, for...
Yeah.
He's letting A's kill his houses whilst he sieges the trading posts. But maybe that's okay, right? I mean, I'd like to see the houses placed a bit further back, but not the case.
I mean, in this particular case, like, the houses can be replaced, right?
But the trading posts...
The trading posts cannot be replaced right now. Because he doesn't really have an army advantage.
And it lets him build on it. It is a stagecoach.
Yeah. So he's going to be able to get his own economic advantage off of killing these trading posts in exchange for a couple of houses. And he does train a few skirmishers now at home to finally force those units away. He lost a few buildings, but he's going to get some economy off of it from killing those trading posts.
Yeah, he's going to get the stagecoach, and if he sets them to wood, those houses will be rebuilt sort of in no time. Does kill a villager there with the falconet volley. Poor guy taking
militia, by the way.
Canning. Yeah, I noticed that earlier. A's is aging up with the Admiral of the Ocean Sea here.
Yeah.
As well.
And he's changed his shipment point.
And this is classic A's, right? Like, he really likes those big timings where you can just sort of drop a bunch. He's really good at timing, like Minutemen, a batch of units, and a shipment, and maybe all sorts of things together. So the Colonial Militia are going to be really, really valuable here. And I imagine he'll call both sets from this town center before it goes down.
Yeah, which will unfortunately be before he ages up, which means that the Caravel's not going to be in a position to deal any damage to those falconets. But yeah, here we go. Here's the Minutemen coming out now.
And the cannon's trying to get away.
Walking right past the army towards the cannons.
Yeah, I really like this, trying to retreat, trying to get them further and further back, because the Minutemen, they do really great damage versus, they do ×2 versus the siege units here.
I don't think artillery is actually, I don't think falconets are siege units.
Well, either way, like, he was chasing them down and they got pulled back, and these Minutemen got attacked, and I think he's going to keep his TC up as a result of that. And
he might. There's going to be a caravel popping out here, which he can use the broadside on Potentially on that Falconet.
There's no way that can be sieged down. He's basically up, and rods have like very little siege. Second
There's
batch of
another
Minutemen being
coming
called,
out.
and a
It
caravel
really
gonna pop.
depends on how the. It really depends on how the caravel comes out here.
Yeah,
If
broadside on the Falconet.
And the caravel both focus the caravel. Maybe
There it is.
Diarouga's fine here.
He's gonna take down that Falk with his broadside, and now might lose the TC, but no, I think that'll stay up. He's fine.
I don't think it's gonna stay up actually. It's really low HP.
Okay.
And it looks like the caravel's gonna go down as well.
But it's fine, right? Like, as ports, like, you've got so many town centers, you don't really mind too much if one goes down. And this is what it's done is, he's got his Minutemen out of it, so he's already got some value out of it, and and basically neutralized a bunch of units that were.
Yeah, it's not terrible for him.
It's done a lot of damage.
Sure. It does mean that holding onto these 2 trading posts is going to be a bit more difficult, although sieging them is still not going to be for free now that the Falconets are down. He's going to take some damage from that ATP. And it did deal with the Falconets, and that's kind of one of Spain's better shipments. So, all things considered, it's not that bad of a trade, but losing the trading posts will hurt.
Yeah,
Although
he really needs to
maybe defend it.
Really needs to stop those from going down. Yeah, there's not too many skirms out, right? Like, that's the one big problem. Oh, a frigate in the pond. Okay, broadside on the Dragoons. The one issue is Spain is getting a big batch of skirms out. I think there are enough now that the Dragoons won't be too threatening. And yeah, looks like Diarouga in a solid spot. He's taken out that forward TC. And he's going to be able to control this whole trading route and the bonuses it gives. Losing a lot of Dragoons just to random fire from boats and towers and things. Coming in with the Dragoons here, looking to kill some villagers, forcing these sort of away from whatever they were doing. I'm not sure if he'll get a kill, though. The Minutemen being called here. And really poor damage against villagers, the Dragoon. He is going to not pick it up. Alright, so both players up to Fortress Age, and Ace is ahead on economy, but in the Fortress Age here, the Portuguese not going to be quite as strong as the Spanish that have that much faster XP curve, and remember, Spain also has this trading route on top, so I think Spain in a solid spot right now, especially with that frigate in the pond as well. But
yeah,
Ace
although
on the
Ace
water?
now transitioning onto water. Oh, these goons getting caught by the rods.
Yeah.
He's not quite paying attention, or maybe he just wants to trade them off at this point. Looks like... Oh, will he get the last vill? No, not quite. 4 HP on that villager.
Getting stuck behind that gold mine here.
No, the Cassadors. What are the Cassadors doing?
Oh, what?
He lost his 8 Castor shipment under that trading post, and then lost another Castor to the frigate. Oh, this is looking really bad for A's now. He lost all of his Dragoons, essentially for 1 villager. And then he lost basically 10 Cassadors for free, so... And now, with all the trading posts over to Diarouga, yeah, this is looking really, really good for Diarouga now.
Yeah, he's got so many more military. He's got a frigate in the pond, which isn't counted in this military graph. And remember, Spain, with all those XP shipments, all those shipments will be rolling around very, very quickly. And you can see this all reflected in the score. Let's take a look. Units in queue. Organ guns being queued for Aizamk. Makes a lot of sense. It's going to be very effective against this infantry mass. Very strong against Rodelleros and skirmishers, and also artillery going to be useful against the frigate as well. So a good unit choice there, especially helpful because he's sort of running out of food. And he's going to have to push out for map control. Organ guns don't cost food, but there are Lancers on the board now, 5 of them, which could be quite threatening given that all he has is Cassadors, which are especially bad against Lancers.
Yeah, and he's trained some Hussars now, but there's a lot of Rodelleros here as well, so... This is just looking like a rough spot for him. He's got organ guns in queue. Maybe deal with the skirms and rods, but yeah, no answer to those Lancers at the moment. Although they might get caught by the Hussars if Diarouga's not careful. Just kind of idling under the town center here, and yeah, they are going to get caught. This is exactly what Aizamk needs, even though there's 4 more Lancers coming in to reinforce behind this, and the Lancers do escape at the end of the day, so... it's still looking rough. And
A's going to lose his favorite building, the market, as well.
No, not the market.
Well, we know A's especially likes the market.
Indeed. Oh, the Hussars, what are you doing on the Rodelleros? No, what are they doing?
That's awkward. The throws. Well, it's not like he was... It's just, he was already in a hard spot, and this is making it harder.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got Colonial Militia, though, on these town centers, so he's got the resources to call it, too, if Diarouga goes in here. So it's not like Diarouga can just break this position by waltzing right underneath there. He's got to be a little bit more nuanced than that. He's building an artillery foundry to give him a little bit more range on that siege. So going to await those cannons before pushing in, I think.
Yeah, what do you think he'll make? A couple of culverins or a couple of falconets? Either way, they're going to be... that's what's going to seal the deal for him here. And
yeah, I think he's probably going to make culves and falconets, I would imagine. Kind of needs both, because he can't really afford to walk underneath the town center.
He's going to make falcons.
Well, actually, maybe he can afford to walk underneath it if he has enough lancers. Like, the lancers do pretty well against Minutemen, right?
Yeah, and he is massing up a lot of lancers here. He's got quite a lot here. Coming down on this side, he's going to find some villagers gathering on the trees. Looks like they're going to try and escape on a fishing boat. But I don't know if they can get there. Can they get in the boat from that? I don't think... yeah, they can.
Should be able to. There we go.
And garrisons...
garrisons
the boats are garrisoned in the fishing boat, which got garrisoned in the dock. That's amazing. Wait, yeah. I know you can garrison...
manages to avoid the siege damage that way as well.
Yeah, that's good. And they're safe here on the other side. Okay, I think, though, we got units in queue. 2 falconets have now arrived. And the longer this game goes, the better for Spain. He's got the sort of... Well, having said that, 60 vills out for Portugal. And some fishing ships there. But I was feeling this is okay for Spain, simply because he's got you know all these trading posts behind this. But looks like he is now ready. I think he was just waiting for those 2 artillery units. That's going to give him the siege he needs to deal with. But Portugal coming with Mamelukes. This is that's kind of what he needs. Like lots of cavalry plus a batch of 5 hussars as well.
Yeah,
now veteran.
If the organ guns can focus down the rods, or the Minutemen can focus down the rods, maybe Ace can get a good fight with this cav mass here. I don't think Diarouga will be expecting cavalry, maybe.
2 vels.
But it's still gonna be hard. I mean, there's a frigate that the army can fall back to, right? And it's still gonna be hard for him to get the right engagement onto this army without taking a lot of losses.
Yeah, he's bleeding out a lot of... He just needs the right moment to call his Minutemen and take the fight at the same time. And I'm sure we'll see, like, trying to keep those mams hidden.
Here we go. The skirm's slightly out of position, but the cavalry grouped together with the organs and the castors. I can't talk.
And the mams coming around the back for a flank trying to get around on the back there. Looks like Diarouga desperately trying to get out of there. That's the one thing you want to avoid is an A's pop. And I think A's was about to pop. And by that we mean the colonial militia, as well as all his units. The Mamelukes in position over here to try and get a surprise on the cannons. He's just sort of... He's not revealed the Mamelukes yet, which is kind of what he needs to do. Make Diarouga think. As soon as Diarouga knows there's Mamelukes involved, he's going to get a little bit sort of dicey and frightened and not going to commit too hard. But the Vel's cleaning up. They arrived earlier.
Yeah, they got a couple of fishing boats. Might get some more here in the future. But Diarouga playing it slow at the moment. Dropping down a second town center. Going to be walling the top side just to give him a little bit more freedom of movement with
coming
this
in.
infantry army.
That seems like an unusual shipment. Maybe he's ran out... What?
The schooners?
Yeah. How do I get...
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would send that instead of like Dragoon Combat or something.
Yeah, that's true. Dragoon Combat. I was going to say he's got no military unit shipments left, so it makes more sense. Dragoon Combat also affects Hussars, so that would be quite good. I think it affects cavalry generally. Hussars... Yeah, no, it's Hussars, so the Mamelukes won't actually...
Dragoons, yeah. But the town center is getting low, which means it's time for Colonial Militia, maybe.
A's pop coming in.
Hussar's going to be going straight in. This could actually be a really good position. One Falk has already gone down to the Colonial Militia.
And here come the Mamelukes.
There's a lot of Rodoleros, but is there enough Rodoleros? Did he use the organ guns earlier? I didn't see.
I don't know either. They're not here at the moment. But Colonial Militia being called here big and revealing the Mamelukes for the first time. The Rodoleros have now found their way in front and fighting. No, here comes the organ guns. They're a little bit late to the fight, but they're setting up now. And the rods are committed. They're in there. And now they're getting blasted by organ gun fire. Once these rods drop, there's going to be nothing stopping all of the cav from dealing with the skirmishes. But having said that, there's not really any cav left. Even the Mamelukes have gone down. So the rods have done their job well, despite being blasted, and actually this is not looking too good for Aizamk. after all. A nice pop, but Spain playing it very cool. Diarouga not getting too stuck in. He knows Colonial Militia is a thing, and just making sure he's got all the right units he needs to deal with it, and has dealt with the Aizamk timing. Now, Aizamk doesn't have, I think, any follow-up to this. That time, this big pop was supposed to neutralize the army and get him back in the game, and I think Aiz would be in a solid position if he won that fight, because he's just got more eco and could get back out on the map and gather food, etc., etc. But looks like Diarouga has sealed the deal with that fight. The villagers now escaping. That town center going to go down, and there's just no resources, just wood now, and there's this final mine he's gathering from. Well, now it's gone, and I don't think... Yeah, let's take a look at units in queue. Yeah, Aizamk.
I mean, he's got a lot of wood and he's got schooners, so he can... He's rebuilding a third dock, so he can sort of transition his economy quickly over to the water. Those villas going to run to the coast, potentially to garrison in a boat, but the boats are actually heading to the opposite side of the map, chasing down a caravel, so those villas will go down. And yeah, it's just looking like a rough situation when you have to send 8 crossbows as your next shipment.
8 colonial
unupgraded crossbows.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, Aiz does not have the church card in his deck, actually, so no Bastiero is going to come in the future, and that's just going to be the...
A very close series. I thought for a moment Aiz had the comeback there with the Colonial Militia, but Diarouga playing it very cool and not going to lose his units, and he's just everywhere. He's on the water. He's even got this frigate that he could retreat into. I think Roga had that one. My ports is really out of touch, he's saying. But some really nice games there. Aizamk not doing so well in a couple of them, but still... Oh, pardon me, I clicked the wrong player. It's actually Diarouga who won. But Diarouga ultimately the winner overall and will progress through to that qualification round. The next game he has to play will qualify him if he wins that. But ladies and gentlemen, coming up next will be a best-of-9 show match between Villesa and Lan. So stick around for that. But before we do, I think Zach's going to come up here now and take... Oh, wow. Don't know what that was about, but hiccups. Come over and take over. But I think there are some highlights to watch. One of two things will happen. Highlights will appear now, or highlights will not appear now, and Zach will swap with me. All right, then.